Hello, welcome to Alternate Future of the World, where we're going to be going to look at the alternate future of the world, but this is a little different. It's kind of modern day, but the US has collapsed too, so we're going to be looking at the US states and the entire world. So, yeah. First up, though, we will go over to Denmark as, well, Germany decides to, go back into a expansionist state, and they will expand it to Denmark, which includes Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. Yeah. So who will win? Germany, of course. So yeah, they push into Denmark, and they take out the mainland, and they take out the entirety of Europe. Greenland just declares independence, and so we will see Greenland not get impacted at all. So Greenland's independent now. Yay! Denmark, meanwhile, is going to be impacted as they're going to be surprisingly not fully annexed into the German Empire. Instead, we will see them take this chunk. But unfortunately, Denmark is not staying as an independent thinker. They will become a puppet state. And so, yeah, Germany has a different way of wanting to expand. They want to do like a slow, gradual thing. Where they will assimilate some land here and there. But real quick, I'm going to add some layers to my other map just so I can make things easier. Hang on. So, yeah, the Germans did all that. And we see them going at it again. After they assimilate Denmark, then they go, hey, Austria, look out. Yeah, that happens. And the Germans get an ally from this invasion. Hungary, that's right. They're still pretty salty about what happened to them during World War One. Yeah, World War One and World War Two. Yeah, they're trying to get their old lands back, respectfully so. But yeah, with Hungary and Austria, with Hungary and Germany taking out Austria, we will now take a look at a peace treaty. So part one of this treaty gives Hungary some of Austria, but the rest of Austria goes to Germany. And then part two makes the alliance between Hungary, Germany, and Denmark, which is a forceful addition because they're a puppet state. In fact, since they're a puppet state, I want to give them a separate color from everyone else due to that. So like that. That's a better red for Denmark. And each puppet state that is forced to be a part of the alliance will have that color. So yeah, with that being said, we will get to some more invasions later on, as I kind of want to focus on America too. So in America, we see that the U.S. states just don't know what to do with themselves other than have large beefs. So yeah. Who will start the beef? Who will make this beef into a beef? Yeah, Ohio declares war on Michigan. Kentucky doesn't like that, but Kentucky was, but not only was, but Kentucky was doing a little something beforehand. They were ratifying the Kentucky-Tennessee Union, and that happened. But they also joined on the Michigan side of the war. Indiana is an ally of Ohio, along with West Virginia. Actually, okay, so Virginia and West Virginia join in on this war, but it's weird. They actually get attacked by Kentucky, so that's what happens. Illinois will join on the blue team, but some rebels got to them first. Specifically, some fascist rebels over in Chicago. Wait, hold up. Actually, it'd be better if I did this. Yeah, there, now that's better. Actually, give me a second. Yeah, so some fascist rebels end up rebelling from Illinois, and Wisconsin and Minnesota are in the war. So Louisiana has already been a thing since this war happened. Missouri and Arkansas all joined together on Kentucky's team, while these two don't. Then we see Pennsylvania and New York get forcefully attacked. Actually, yeah. And New Jersey is in the crossfire. Although I think this is gonna work. Although actually, hold up. I'm actually not gonna have the Northeast in this war. Because if I do, then it's just gonna be a heckle. The Northeast is gonna have its own war later. But this is the war. And while you might think this is a stronger team, first stop, Missouri. They're gonna have the help of MSHP, and Arkansas is in there, so yeah, Arkansas sending ASP to help at the front lines, and well, Louisiana is stronger than a lot of states here. Michigan's pretty strong on their own too, and then Illinois is an active rebellion, so you might think that the red team would win, but when you look at power scale, oh no, not really. So with that being said, first problem we got to deal with is Illinois. You actually, Chicago would be under the government, under the Illinois influence. Sorry about that, but the rest is fairly good. So anyway, Michigan starts the front lines as they push it to Wisconsin, capture a lot of valuable area. And actually, I should look at the city map. They capture Madison pretty easily. And yeah. They also push in to Minnesota and take these two cities out. I think the capital's right here, so yeah. That gets captured. And they make it to North Dakota, who doesn't want to join this war. Gee, I wonder why. Anyway, they collapse. And Wisconsin surrenders because their government doesn't exactly exist anymore. Given. Anyway. As for the Illinois rebellion, they push into their territory. They take over these two cities, and Michigan just takes over Chicago beforehand, though. They want to form a Great Lake Empire, or a resemblance of one. Now, Illinois, meanwhile, the rebellion. Yeah, they pretty much capture the core of Illinois. But Kentucky will push in too. They capture Indianapolis. Michigan cuts Illinois off, which is fine because Illinois was sponsored by the blue team anyway. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, no, they're remaining in this war. They kind of helped the blue team a bit. So yeah, Ohio will lose Dayton, or was it? I think that's Columbus. They lose that, and Ohio just doesn't exist anymore. West Virginia has Charleston, but I mean West Virginia is like mountain anyway, so it would be kind of hard to push in. Though I think, but though Kentucky also has mountains, so eventually they'll get through. And so yeah, all that remains is Virginia, North Carolina, and all that. Florida will manhandle these fools though. As well, yeah. But we can't exactly say that everyone had a bunch of success, and you're right. So North Carolina will push up back a bit. Not too much because it's Florida, but they'll push back a bit into Georgia again and capture Savannah and this city nearby. Also try to make it back to Atlanta. Or this completely fails. And they also try to get down the Valdosta. That also fails. So yeah, we just have this thing. We also have the North Carolinians trying to get into the Tennessee part as Franklin is captured. They're trying to split apart Tennessee from the Kentucky-Tennessee Union, but it's just not working as they don't make it to Nashville. At this point, the wall of troops is barricading in to these three. As Georgia will fall again to the Gators. And what remains of this state, just, yeah. So Charlotte is captured. All these cities over here, dead. As dead can be. And then Virginia, yeah, they most likely have lost their capital by now. And all their population here just ceases to exist. And what remains is just this part, which Kentucky and the rest of the troops are manhandling until eventually, yeah, it's just gone. Anyway, with that being said, we will now take a look at a peace treaty. So on this peace treaty, a majority of the states has been taken out by the opposing teams. So like we got Louisiana taking over a lot of southern Alabama and like Mississippi and stuff. Arkansas takes a little bit, and the majority of all the other states, from West Virginia all the way down to Georgia, all goes to the Kentucky-Tennessee Federation. And I added the capitals of each thing. So Louisiana has their capitals in New Orleans and Tallahassee, while Kentucky has their Kentucky-Tennessee Federation has their capitals in Frankfort and Tennessee and Nashville. And if I were to split these two evenly, they both govern the country. So if I were to split the provinces here, what it would look like is, so yeah, these are the state borders. So this is the Kentucky portion of the Union. This is what Kentucky rules. And I mean, I guess technically, if we want to go technical, the Virginia part of this union will rule that part. And they also have a Carolina portion and a Georgia Alabama portion just to make things easier. But this is the autonomous state. Like, these are more of the autonomous regions within a region. In reality, the state map just looks like this. Kentucky and Tennessee. Autonomously for both, though, that would be, those states would still exist within their own autonomous thing, but just Kentucky manages that, well, Tennessee manages that. And with Louisiana, it's actually interesting. Since there's no governing body for their portions of Alabama and Mississippi, those just get absorbed into the actual state. So Florida gets all this, and then Louisiana gets all that. There is no autonomous territory. But, yeah. Together, though, they're just this and this. Because, well, yeah. Also, Illinois is fascist, and they got influence over Minnesota and Ohio, which Minnesota didn't lose too much land, just this part. But Minnesota itself did collapse. Like, the government itself did collapse. So, like, Illinois got the whole, Illinois got the jump in, getting Minnesota. And originally I was going to make, Indiana its own separate thing with all this. But I was like, it would look better if Illinois had it. Plus, I kind of need to be compensated for losing Chicago anyway. So yeah, they get that, which makes them have Indianapolis, which they will change it to Illinois-polis. Illinois-polis, yes, Illinois-polis. Will I remember that? No. But anyway, Ohio becomes a puppet state of Illinois and is forced to join this alliance. So what that essentially means is there are two alliances now. The German alliance and the Illinois alliance. Which both could merge together. I mean, they both have similar ideals. Will that happen? We'll see. Speaking of the German alliance, so we will go back to them before I decide to end the video. So, they're going all ballistic. They took some time to assimilate, and they want to invade not only Czechia and Slovakia, but Poland. So, yeah. Germany has good balls. And they're going to succeed because Germany has gotten powerful. So yeah, they push in, they take over this part. And, well, yeah. Poland's not lasting long here. I mean, Poland is... It is modern-day Poland, but still, in regards to Germany right now, no, they can't. They won't. And they just won't. Anyway, now we can take a look at a peace treaty. What is a Czechia and what is a Slovakia? Yeah, we don't know. But Poland still exists. They're just relegated to a puppet state like Denmark. Germany's trying to recreate their empire. They want this part back. Yeah, good luck fighting Russia, boy. Although Russia itself is at war with Ukraine actually, so I'm going to map that out for a little bit. Why? Oh, it'll be pivotal, don't worry. So, Russia will have its war with Ukraine, and with the disappearance of the U.S., This war goes absolutely fucking well for them. So yeah, they almost push in. They almost push into Kiev, but then something happens. Hungary, Germany, and Poland, and Denmark. Ew. Right. But is that just it? No. Because apparently, the Illinois faction is also joining Germany in this. Now, hold up. How are they even gonna get the coastline access to, even make it over to Europe? Well, Pennsylvania gets bribed into joining the alliance. And, New Jersey gets invaded. And it eventually gets annexed into, Pennsylvania. So now they have the coastline access. Yeah. Political games. Anyway, though. With the U.S. troops being sent, though, overseas, we will see the Russians do some, like, a bit more damage to Ukraine before those troops arrive. So we see that that they push in even more. They almost encircle Kiev, but then the troops arrive, and along with that, German troops are in this front line, and yeah, that's not good. Oh, so this would have been taken out a long time ago. Yeah. Oh, right. So, Russia will collapse to many sponsored factions made by the Germans. And the Ukrainians push in, but the southern Russians also rebel. Siberia rebels. Okay. Wait, who's this? Who's invading from the east? Oh, I guess Alaska's pursuing their own interests. Or maybe they're just getting revenge on Russia for trying to invade them. Yeah, Russia, you screwed up. You really screwed up. And it is at this point where they capture the capital. Kola rebels. These cities support, like, they like these people are letting these troops walk in with open arms. Any city, like, there is quite literally not a lot of cities remaining in this thing, and the final one eventually gets captured by Alaska. Yeah, eventually, this entire Russian country, it collapses so bad that eventually all of it will just end up falling over to the German faction. So yeah, Russia is dead. China's mad, but it happened. Anyway, now we can look at a peace treaty here. So in this peace treaty, we're keeping the blue for a second because it's going to be important. So Alaska annexes all this land in the east, and Alaska also ends up puppeting Siberia. Now, why is this important? You'll see. So basically, Alaska was kind of a dice roll. Illinois decided to pay Alaska to join their alliance, which then merged with the German alliance. So now technically all these countries are in the German alliance. So we're gonna recolor in the German alliance. Yeah, so the German alliance is looking very scary. But that's not it for the German alliance. The German alliance sends an ultimatum to the Baltic countries. Give me Lithuania, give me Memel, and the rest of the Baltic countries need to be my puppets, or else you're fucking dead. And well, Lithuania can't exactly resist, so we just see Memel and the rest of the Baltics. So we see the Germans getting Memel, and the rest of the Baltics being puppeted due to the ultimatum. They do not want to be invaded, as they all know that being invaded would equal instant death for these three. And then actually, Belarus is so impressed with Germany's actions that they actually decide to become a full-on ally. Ignore this rabbit hole in the bottom. Yeah, but because Russia's gone, so Belarus is like, well, I have no choice. And then also, Bulgaria joins, as they want to have some influence. But wait, not just Bulgaria. There's some old Russian allies like got some interest in this too, such as Iran and Iraq. I would say. Okay, so for the sake of this, Syria has its own government, so Syria will join this too, and Lebanon. Yeah, that's everyone though. Actually, I changed my mind. Afghanistan. Yeah, that's everyone. So yeah, the German alliance is really getting powerful. But did you think that the German alliance would be the dominant alliance? If you said yes, then what the hell's wrong with you? You know there's got to be some opposition. And of course, the opposition is the what remains of the democratic world. So this includes Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, surprisingly, Vietnam, Thailand, uh, Malaysia, I guess, the Philippines. They joined. Indonesia will join later, but they could join. India has no choice, as they do not like this whole German thing. So if they join, Saudi Arabia joins because they do not like this German influence in the Middle East, along with all of their allies. So all these countries. Now Israel doesn't join, alluding to the fact that maybe Israel would go to this little object, but for intensive purposes, I'm just gonna say they joined the alliance. I'm not gonna make them collapse. That's just yeah. And we'll just go ahead and do this anyway. We also have Western Europe joining. Note Eastern Europe hasn't joined, and that's just because Germany is gonna roll over them before they even have the chance to join. Although the Nordics will join because they're pretty solidary. I mean, I don't think anyone would invade them. I mean, Germany probably would try to, but I mean, they're in a zone to the point where I don't think they would get invaded. The Balkans, meanwhile, oh, they're screwed. The German alliance already had plans drawn up for these countries in particular. Maybe these three. I think these three also are included in the same plan. Yeah, that's just to be said. Also, Ukraine gives Carpathian Rus over to Hungary as a signal of friendship. This is just because they wanted it so bad, and since well, the Hungarians along with the Germans helped them with the Russians. They're like, yeah, sure, why not? We already have stuff in the east anyway. Go have it. Go have it, Queen. So yeah. And I guess we can also some remnants of democracy in the US. There's a couple. So the Kentucky Tennessee Federation is a staple. Louisiana, despite how crazy they are, at least Florida's side, they still don't want this thing to be taking over the continent. Arkansas, Missouri also agree here too, and Iowa, and Michigan, and quite literally all of New England. So they are opposed to this. Also, a lot of this central territory up to California. This is like the anti-fascist thing. All these countries are neutral. That doesn't mean they align towards this. It just means that they're neutral. Oh yeah, and also Canada joins it. Oh yeah. Yeah, every Western ally does pretty much join this. So yeah, anyway, that's the end of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a new video. Peace out.